So are you someone who wants to get into streaming but can't be bothered watching like 5-6 videos on how to set everything up, from scenes to overlays to stinger transitions to just getting your game working on OBS and the basics like bitrate and encoder settings? I've tried to consolidate everything into just one video, and I'm hoping it will be less than 10 minutes so you can get started with streaming. Now there are plenty of applications out there for streaming, but my choice is OBS Studio, especially with the OBS Live plugin from Streamelements. Now it's not as complicated as it seems. Just use the link in the description or just go to obs.live and download and install that app. First things first, to avoid any majority of game capture and desktop capture issues, you may want to go to your OBS directory and right click OBS 64 properties, compatibility, click on run as administrator. That will always run it as admin to avoid any issues with games. Also, if you're on a laptop, you might want to go into start, then graphics settings, then click on add application, select the OBS 64 exe, and select your GPU to be power saving or the Intel or the built-in one if you're in an AMD one. And once you open OBS Live, it should ask you to connect your Twitch account. Just do that by clicking on Twitch and link your account by getting the confirmation code from your email. They'll log you in. Let's do some basic settings before we proceed with scenes and overlays and all that. So if you go to settings, then go to output, select your encoder there. Now in most cases, if you're running NVIDIA GPU, you should be able to select NVENC. If you don't have NVENC, you might have Intel QuickSync. Or worst case scenario, if you don't have any, you can select X264, which is CPU based encoding, which will slightly reduce your FPS while gaming, so beware of that. We're using NVENC for this video. Then you need to select your bitrate. Now bitrate depends on how good of an upload you have. Personally, I have a 20 megabit upload on my connection. The limit for Twitch is set to 6 megabit from Twitch themselves, so anything more they'll just ignore it. So I highly recommend setting it to 6 if you have 6 available. If you have less, try 4 for 720 60 FPS and maybe 6 for 1080 60 FPS. Once you've done that, now go to stream and select the closest server to you. If you don't know which one is the closest, I've made a video on my channel explaining that, just up there. Now that you've selected your server and set to your bitrate and encoder, you might want to test it. So to test it, go to stream option, select bandwidth test mode, and just hit start streaming. No, it's a black screen, it's empty. Give it a start, see if you get consistent frames without any dropped or skipped frames. If it's 0, 1, or a single digit, you're good to go. You can start streaming. If it's starting to pile up, you might want to drop down your bitrate. Now to design your overlays, you need to go to streamelements.com, do the login again using Twitch, go to themes gallery, and look for an overlay that you like. Most of them are free as far as I know. We're gonna use this Justice League one, which is new from Snyder Scott. So just click on that and it will add it to your overlays. Next step is to go to My Overlays and configure it to your liking. Say example, you want to add chat to your starting screen, or do you want to add any media request, or basically anything. You can add text, you can add your Twitter handle, Instagram handle, etc. All of the themes are different. You can even edit some of the elements of the overlay. We're gonna just use the default one, plug and play kind of thing, so we're just gonna use that. You can also see it going in the background here. So it says starting soon. You can see it kind of animates, which is pretty cool, without having to set up much. Once you're satisfied with designing your overlays, you can create the scenes in OBS. Now it's pretty simple. Create a scene, name it something, say for example starting. Now in the sources area, you can right click and add browser source. Once you add a browser source, you can copy the link from your My Overlays page in Streamelements and copy the starting screen's URL. So just copy, paste. Do the same for all of the others. Once you've done that, on the in-game screen, you might want your game or desktop or whatever you're trying to stream. So in the in-game one, once you've added your overlay, under that, you should add your window or game capture. So just right click, add source, and select game capture or desktop capture, depending on what you need. I'm using game capture because I don't want to stream my desktop to Twitch. And that's it, done. Now you can switch between all the scenes, but you can see it's a bit jaggy. There's no transition transition. Here's where the stinger transitions come in. They look cool. Most of the pro streamers use it. How to add it? So all you need to do is go to this website called visualsbyimpulse.com. They have a free pack for 10 stinger transition. We're going to be using one of those today. So I'm just going to go ahead, download it, extract, and then on OBS, on transition, I can just select stinger, click on edit, and you can see in transitions there is a path where you can enter the video file where we will use the stinger transition video file. So we're going to be using the WebM one. So just click on browse, go to the file, select, and set the delay as per the transition requirement. For me, it's this. You can see it's smoothly switching between all the sources now. Pretty cool. There we go. Now what else would you need on a stream? Bot, maybe a media request, viewer rewards. To do that, it's pretty simple. Again, go back to streamelements.com. Then you go to your bot settings and configure as required. I'm just gonna show it on the screen. You can customize it the way you want. If you have a question, there's a Discord link in the description if you have any specific issue. But you can have commands ranging from viewer rewards to asking the specs of your PC, etc, etc. Also, the bot can send automatic messages every 10 minutes or so to the stream, for example, if you have a YouTube channel. Now that's all the video part of things. What about audio? Now audio, you need to use some sort of a good quality microphone. Use a headset microphone. Any sort of headset will have a better microphone than built-in one to your laptop. You may want to add some filters to it so that whenever you speak the volume doesn't go too high or too low. So we're going to be using compressor, and then here are the settings. You can just copy them, but they can be slightly different depending on your setup, so feel free to mess around with it. So there's the compressor, there's the limiter, and then there's noise suppressor. All of these are pretty important. You can still add more effects, but it will cost you a bit of CPU usage, and if you're using a single PC to stream, it might not be worth the trouble. Now say if you want to split your audio going to OBS, say one's the game, second's Discord and Spotify, third one's like media request, you can do it using a free program called Voicemeeter Banana. I made a whole video on it just up here. You can check it out. But if you want a simple setup with just your desktop audio and your mic to get started, that's all you need to start streaming. Now once you've done all the settings to your personal requirements, you can now save all those settings to Streamelements Cloud. What that will do, if you ever switch your computer, if your hard drive crashes or whatever happens, you'll always have all these settings backed up, so you can just import it, get started on a brand new system without having to mess around with linking your Twitch account, all that mess. The last step is pretty easy. Just hit the start streaming button and you're on your way to become a crazy good streamer. Anyway, if you like this kind of content, leave a thumbs up on this video, subscribe and ding the notification bell. You know what to do. And check out my other videos up on the screen right now. I'll see you guys in the next one. Cheers.